Welcome to Pod Me If You Can, I'm David Farrell. Today's film is from 1986 and it is Heartburn, starring Meryl Streep and Jack Nicholson.
Pod Me If You Can, movie reviews.
Based on the real-life marriage of Nora Ephron and adapted from her novel, Meryl Streep plays Rachel, a food critic that falls for Mark, played by Jack Nicholson, who's a known man about town. Despite their fears, they get married, buy a house, and have a daughter. And when Rachel becomes pregnant with their second child, she finds out Mark might be having an affair. Heartburn is directed by Mike Nichols, who did such films as The Graduate and Closer and The Birdcage, and it's very well directed. What I found interesting about the film is that for about 45 to 50 minutes, you're just watching a very pleasant love story. There's very little conflict, no big fights, no gotcha moments and no twists, and it felt like a simpler time in filmmaking. There are a few problems with their living arrangements, but it's not too serious, and I kept wondering what was going to happen because it all felt very normal. It is very hard for me to picture Jack Nicholson in these kinds of roles as anyone other than Jack Nicholson. He is a larger-than-life actor, and so when you see him in films like this, he's very comfortable, he's chewing the scenery only a little bit here, and he does get to sing some of the songs from Carousel. But honestly, he's not the scene stealer here. Meryl Streep does a great job. One of the notable cameos, and there are many, is Kevin Spacey as a robber. It's actually his first film role, and he's quite memorable as someone that robs Meryl Streep's character. One not so memorable character is played by Tony Shalhoub, who can be seen in this one shot of the film. That's because his entire subplot was apparently cut out of the movie. Now, he played a character who, after Jack Nicholson's affair, has a romantic relationship with Meryl Streep's character, Rachel. The only issue is that I suppose that doesn't test so well with audiences. Instead of being a woman scorned, she would have found some independence and had revenge, and that changes the outcome of the film considerably. One of the actors I felt was really wasted in this film was Jeff Daniels. He is set up as Rachel's best friend and confidant at work. He is a possible love interest that actually never evolves into anything. They share a brief kiss in one scene, and he feels like he's waiting in the wings for her marriage to fall apart. However, it never eventuates for him, and so you wonder what the point of any of his scenes were at the end. Meryl Streep's daughter is in this, and she plays the baby. Stockard Channing, Richard Mazur, Catherine O'Hara, and Milos Forman all have small roles in the film. Overall, it feels very real and authentic. The things that are happening in the film actually happen to Nora Ephron. There's great depth to every frame. Every character feels like someone zany and real. They have dimension to them because they're all based on real people in her life. I did find a couple of small grievances for myself. Number one is that both of their jobs, she's a food critic and he's a writer, and they have absolutely no bearing on the story whatsoever. They could have literally been doing anything. But my issue is with the Jack Nicholson part. Whereas her character confronts him about an affair, which he doesn't deny, then he disappears from the story and the film for quite a large portion. We follow Rachel's point of view, and it feels very uneven, like we should be getting more from him. We also never really established beforehand that he likes sleeping around, that he's this ladies' man about town. And so when it starts happening, it is a little out of the blue. He supposedly had this reputation and all these women, but the part that we see in the film, he's quite a pleasant stand-up guy. So it feels a bit like he hasn't been fleshed out enough. Maybe there should have been more clues for us to follow, or more sort of women in the street, or scenes where we kind of got the impression that he was capable of that philandering. That might have made the first 50 minutes more interesting. All the acting performances are very solid. It holds up comedically, and 30 years on, that's quite an achievement. It's great to see young Meryl Streep. She does really well here, and it's kind of a modern classic, I suppose. Heartburn's not a bad film at all.
Thanks for watching. If you like what you see, please hit the subscribe button. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Check out our podcast at www.podmeifyoucan.com.